Okay. What we're working on here today is a cavity filter for the ShannonBasin Radio Club repeater, EI2CAR. The cavity repeater has two main components in it. It has the tuning rod, which is basically a copper adjustable rod, and it is adjusted for reducing the frequency or shortening it to increase the frequency. For the 2 meter operation, this will be at approximately 500 millimeters long. The second part in it is a loop. This loop is the part that is actually connected to our antenna wires. There will be a T-piece fitting on top of this, the loop running across, and this creates a very sharp notch filter. In operation in the cavity, it will be located very close to the tuning filter, and it's rotated to obtain the exact shape of notch that's required and attenuation. All this, while located inside in the cavity, the current runs in a circular pattern around it. At the very bottom is the highest voltage. If the cavity is running a Q factor of about 1000, which is not very high for a cavity filter, and putting 100 watts through this loop, you can experience up to 77,000 volts at the very end of the tuning rod. So that's the reason why the loop is actually located up near the top, which is the lowest point in the field for voltage. This is normally fitted into the cavity filter, like so, and it rotates. The adjustment then is pulling the tuning rod up and down and rotation of this. And this is what will generate a notch. This particular cavity filter will get about 38 dB notch with an insertion loss of about 0.7 of a dB. So it works very well. These cavity filters we're working on here, they will be installed in a bank of 6 cavity filters. There will be 2 notch filters and a bandpass filter on transmit, and 2 notch filters and a bandpass filter on receive. The radio that is going with those, the repeater radio, it's an IC FR3100. This should give us 25 watts output, and what is done is the signal will be coming in from our antenna through a T-piece, through a bandpass filter, 2 notch filters, and into the receive. And on the transmit end, the signal going from the repeater radio will go through 2 notch filters, a bandpass filter, and then into the same T-piece as the receive signal is coming in, and 1 cable travels up to the antenna. So this is on the TX side of the cavity filter. This is the response. It's a 300 megahertz span centered at around 145. So you can see from down at the HF end of it, signal levels are very much down, and at everything above our own frequency is well down as well, just getting the spike exactly where we are. If I take it back to a much smaller span of only say 3 megahertz, you can see our pass band and then our notch. This is on the this is the TX side. Our RX side, has our pass band on the opposite side, followed by the notch. If I take our span right out wide again, you can actually see it is well tightened down.
So fine.
So there's only a very there's only just a very fine blip. Without the bandpass filters, there was a massive high strong signals in the HF section. It's practically straight through. Bandpass, these ones, take that all well down. Anyway, it's on frequency.
Good to go.
Yeah.
What's this machine then?
This machine, it's a VNA, which is a vector network analyzer. It works something like a spectrum analyzer, but it's able to see time differences and phase relationships. It works completely different. It gives a similar sort of a view, but comes from a different angle than a spectrum analyzer, and it'll actually allow us to see the responses of the filters. The filters are capable of going sort of beyond the range of this, but it still gives a very good idea. Where we get caught here is on the deeper attenuation. It's not stable enough to accurately measure the deep attenuation. And that is the one thing we've had just an issue getting our hands on right equipment for through this project, but by hook or by crook we managed it one way or the other. Just here looking with our VNA here, this is our TX filter, and we have it set at 1 dB per division. So as you can see here, we're just 2.1, 2.2 dB attenuation, our insertion loss really on our bandpass filter. We can go a little more, 9 dB maybe. This is the actual response of it, so you can see you have a better idea how deep the actual notch is on the TX filter. As you can see, it isn't stable. It isn't able to stably read what our levels are, but you can see it's a pretty deep notch. This is our TX